Oh, well, hi, Kate. Thanks so much for agreeing to speak to us about your experience of hosting an event with us at Applause. Yeah, it would just be really great if you could maybe tell us a little bit about your village hall and how long you've been hosting performances there.
Well, the village hall, I think, is a really good hall as they go. Very good facilities now. It's been extended over the years, and particularly actually because of the Shoreham Village players have always been very active. We've done rather well out of this. We've got lots of backstage space, lots of storage space, everything you could want really. And as to how long, I don't know, I can't find the records, but it's actually about 20 years.
Oh wow, yeah, amazing. That's a long time. Um, so yeah, what benefits would you say that attending performances has on your community?
Well, it strengthens the community, I suppose, as any that sort of communal activity does. Again, as the Shoreham Village Players, part of our remit is exposing people to theatre, and it's much better if it's not just us. It's wonderful to have professionals come in doing very different sorts of things from what we do, because they're very often they're small cast, often maybe two and three people, but maybe playing up to 10 or 12 parts. Hugely creative with the use of scenery and all that sort of thing that they have to put in and take out in a day. So it helps us. And also, I think probably people coming will get chatting, obviously, and discover a shared interest in theatre, and so the thing sort of grows organically.
Yeah, I think that's so important what you said there, just about kind of it's about encouraging people to get involved with the arts. And I think, there aren't that many opportunities necessarily in rural settings to do that. So the village hall becomes really important in that sense of introducing people to the arts. And so I was wondering, sort of along those lines, actually, what is it about the village hall that you think means that it can work particularly well as a space for live performance?
I suppose because we can be fairly flexible. We've got a stage, obviously, which can be extended if it needs to be, or we can put on things in the round because, of course, we don't have fixed seats, so we can arrange the space in any way that we like. And I think it's just that really. And the fact that it's in the middle of the village, people can get there, it's not expensive, and it is all part of village life.
Yeah, I think that's so right. Like it just removes so many barriers, doesn't it? That there might be to having to get a bus to get to a big town to go and see something, or the cost. It removes so many of the barriers, and like you say as well, it's just about that thing of being in the centre of the community.
And the fact, of course, that it is live theatre that people can come to. I mean, everybody can look at films at the end of, on their phone. They've got them with them all the time. But live theatre is so different, and that's why it's fantastic to have a space locally where we can host that.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, and yeah, obviously you hosted our first show back in a village hall after we hadn't been able to tour for in indoors for ages because of COVID. So you sort of launched us back really. So it would be great if you could tell us a little bit about the performance that you had at your village hall and yeah, what you thought about it. Do you think it was good quality? Did you get any feedback from the audience? Yeah, what was it like?
Yeah, but it was fantastic is what it was like, because everybody was so happy to be back in the hall seeing something live. I mean, it almost wouldn't have mattered what it was, but in fact it was excellent. It was such an interesting play, with that, so clever, so creative, that contrast between Dickens and Lewis Carroll and so on, just brilliantly thought of and hugely enjoyed. Lots of people came up to us afterwards or emailed to say how much they'd enjoyed it. So I think it was a total success.
Oh, brilliant. And yeah, I think you kind of touched on this a little bit there already, but yeah, it sounds like people were really excited to just be back because it was something to do, and like we've been shut away for so long. But yeah, I wonder, have you noticed much of an impact on the audience? Like, obviously you've been putting things on for a really long time, so what have you felt has been the impact on COVID, either positive and negative?
Um, I don't know really. In some ways, it was awful because we couldn't do anything. You know, we as a company couldn't put on any plays for 2 years either. But I think we are actually starting up again. We're going to be doing a pantomime on the 24th to the 26th of February. And we've had a great rush of people wanting to take part, which is really nice. And I think it's, having been without it for a couple of years, people are really realising that they want to get involved. And I'm sure similarly, you know, we'll be, I hope, hosting some more visiting companies for the same reason.
Oh, yeah, it's brilliant to hear as well that these shows are sort of part of a whole ecology, really, of what you've got going on at the Village Hall. And yeah, I wonder, so we offer a subsidy to help enable you to have these high quality professional shows coming to your venues. And yeah, I just wondered if you could maybe tell us a little bit from the perspective of a host, what that means for you, having that subsidy, and what the benefits of that are.
Well, it makes it possible. I mean, this is only quite a small village, and although we try to advertise it reasonably widely, you know, to Sevenoaks, which is our nearest town, frankly, it's actually quite unusual for people to come from far away. Some people do, just occasionally, and that's always really nice, actually, if people have come across it and turn up from more distant parts. But obviously, although we're not doing it to make money, we certainly don't really want to lose money. So the fact that it is relatively affordable means that we can do it, you know, when we feel we need to. And we've never lost money yet. You know, you can make up money by having a bar and things like that, which is always very helpful. But I imagine without the subsidy, it really wouldn't be manageable for us.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And yeah, thanks for touching on those other kinds of income streams as well, because I know lots of our hosts do, you know, it's the bar, it's the raffle, those extra things that can help raise money for their village hall. It's really helpful to do. So yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, something that'll be really interesting to find out from you is, with all your experience, like, what do you feel is the best way to get word out to your community when you've got a show booked with us and you know it's coming? How do you get that buy-in from your community? Is it in the parish magazine or on social media? Like, what do you feel is the best way to do that?
Well, you've just mentioned the two sort of really obvious ones. Yes, the parish magazine, and yes, the village Facebook page, and other local pages. I mean, I know that some of our members have put things up on the mums group and things like that. But actually, we very often, we usually get quite a lot of flyers from you, and I must say we really appreciate being able to get plenty of advertising materials from you. So I think for the last performance, because we really didn't know whether everybody would say, oh yes, good, let's flock to the village hall, or what everybody would say, oh, I'm still not too sure, is it really safe, you know? So we actually put flyers through pretty well every door in the village between us, and that worked. You know, we got the audience we needed, which was really nice.
Yeah, it's brilliant to hear about that kind of like really localized marketing. I think it's quite different, you know, to a big show trying to do their marketing, having a really big digital marketing campaign. There's so much more of that community element behind it, like literally being able to go and put flyers through every door. It just gives you that sense of the community that you have around you, that's going to come to that show.
And we do use a local paper as well, which again, I hope definitely brings in a few people, you know, so that all helps.
So yeah, Kate, final question. I was just wondering, with all your experience, if someone has listened to this and they're thinking, yeah, maybe I should put on an event in my community, but they're not sure, what would your message to them be?
Absolutely, go for it. It's hugely enjoyable, apart from the pleasure that you're giving to a lot of people by giving them this opportunity. For us as hosts, you know, you get to meet the actors and talk to them beforehand, which is really interesting. I love watching them set up because they're so brilliant the way they get their sets, and often quite minimalist but clever sets that do a job, you know, that and we pick up tips from. And the effort involved is not huge. You've got to do the pre-publicity and so on, but that's easy enough. I must say you make it quite easy for us because your organisation is good. So yeah, I would say to anybody, go for it.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks so much. And yeah, it's been great to sort of pick your brain and hear some of that experience that you've garnered over years of putting on shows. So yeah, thank you so much for your time.
That was a pleasure.